Dear students, good morning. So ಇವತ್ತು ನಾವು ಇನಾರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಕೆಮಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಪಿ ಬ್ಲಾಕ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಸೊ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಪಿ ಬ್ಲಾಕ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ನೀವು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಬಹಳ ಸರ್ತಿ ಕೇಳಿದಿರಿ ಕೂಡ, ಪಿ ಯು ನಲ್ಲಿ ಓದಿದಿರಿ ಕೂಡ. ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಆಸ್ ವೆಲ್ ಆಸ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಇಯರ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ನಲ್ಲೂ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಇದು ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಇಯರ್ ನಲ್ಲೂ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So we know that in the inorganic periodic table is classified into four blocks depending upon the differentiating electron. If the differentiating electron enters into S subshell, we call it as S block elements. If the differentiating electron enters into P subshell, called P block elements. If the differentiating electron enters into n-1 d orbitals, are called D block elements. Whereas the differentiating electron enters into n-2 F subshell, so is called F block elements. So here we are discussing that P block elements. So these are the elements in which the differentiating electron enters into np orbitals. So here the P block elements are having general electronic configuration. So noble gas core with so ns2 np 1 2 6. So there are 6 differentiating electrons can be possible in the P block elements. Hence we have 6 groups here. So ns to np1, ns to np2, ns to np3, ns to np4, ns to np5 and ns to np6. Among these 6 groups, the first 2 groups, that is the 13th and 14th group elements. So this 13th or 14th are also known as third A and fourth A group elements. So remember, so group numbers can also be represented in a numerical sign or symbol or in a Roman symbol. So if you represent a group number in Roman symbol, so it refers two things. One is, so Roman number of a group refers two things. One is maximum oxidation state of those elements, maximum oxidation state of the group elements, and as well as number of valence electrons. These are the two things which can represent it by representing a group number in a Roman number. That means, so one is maximum oxidation state. If you take third A group element, all the elements of third A, maximum it can show only +3 oxidation state, and all are containing 3 valence electrons in the valence shell. So that group number refers to two things. One is number of valence electrons as well as maximum oxidation number of that group elements. So here we are discussing 13th and 14th group elements. So 13th group elements are also called as third A group elements. 14th group elements are also known as fourth A group elements. So if you take 13th group, so we have so many elements here. So this 13th group can also be represented as ns2 np1, and 14th group is represented as ns2 np2. So all these elements so present in the 13th group, that is boron, aluminium, gallium, indium, thallium. Similarly in the 14th group, carbon, silicon, gallium, germanium, stannous or tin, and lead. So these are the elements present in the 13th and 14th group. So if you go through with this group, we have a, so all the groups are, if you want to study any group in a periodic table, so if we have to go by a systematic way. So in that we have two different categories. The first category here is general part, studying a group in a general part. General part indicates that, or it includes that, so what are the elements present in that group, and what are their atomic numbers, and what are their electronic configurations. After that, the periodic properties like atomic or ionic radii, ionization energy, electronegativity, electron affinity, metallic and non-metallic character. So and some of the oxidation state of those group elements and reducing property of those group elements, and some general chemical properties like what happens when they reacts with oxygen, what happens when they reacts with hydrogen, what happens when they reacts with water, what happens when they reacts with nitrogen, hydrogen, carbon. So like this we are going to study some general properties regarding all the elements present in the given group. So this part includes the general part of the any group. Here I taken 13th and 14th group. So if you want to study the 13th and 14th group general discussion, we have to go through with the what are the elements present here, what are their atomic numbers, what are their ionization potential, what are their atomic size, electronegativity, metallic character, like that. If you go through with that, so you will be getting plenty of general points here. So after discussing all the general points of the group, so then we have to go through with the some important compounds of those group elements. So whatever, if we take a 13 group elements, the important elements of this group is boron and aluminium. So this boron and aluminium forming so many variety of compounds. Among them one is borax, so diborane. So similarly aluminium also can form various important compounds like alumina, so like that. So after that if you go through with the 14th group, so carbon and silicon are the important elements here. Carbon can form allotropic forms like diamond, graphite, fullerene. So and carbon also can form very important compounds like carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide. So carbon also can form variety, so many wide range of organic compounds, and they are called hydrocarbons. And that part we are not discussing here in the inorganic, we are discussing separately in case of organic chemistry. So and silicon can form one of the important compound called silicates. So zeolites. So zeolite is one of the important chemical compound of 13th aluminium. So this is also nothing but three-dimensional aluminosilicates. So the trade or the trade name of that zeolite is ZSM5. The very important application of zeolites are, these zeolites are used to softening of hard water, by ion exchange method. So these zeolites having honeycomb like structures. In that honeycomb like structures, the cations present in the cation or anions present in the hard water like Ca plus 2, magnesium plus 2 gets caught in the those cages. So as a result water get purified. So this is how you can convert a hard water into a soft water, so by ion exchange method. And also these zeolites are used in the photochemical industries. So these are some of the points regarding 13th and 14th group elements. If you take allotropic forms of carbon, so here we have three important allotropic forms. Based on these allotropic forms, so many times questions are arise in your annual exam, your competitive examinations. In case of diamond, it is one of the allotropic forms of carbon, so where the carbon atom undergo sp3 hybridization, and that diamond is a three-dimensional tetrahedral arrangement of carbon molecules. In case of and this diamond is a insulator. It does not conduct electricity because of it does not containing any free electrons to carry current from one end to another end. So similarly graphite is on another allotropic forms of carbon, so in which carbon undergo sp2 hybridization. So because of, and it is a that layered structure will be there, hexagonal ringing layers will be there. So in that hexagonal carbon containing only 3 bonds, so and it involves in the sp2 hybridization, where the 2pz orbital, the electrons containing 2pz orbital is free. So that because of presence of that free electron, so this graphite can show conductance. So it can carry current from one end to another end. Between diamond and graphite, which is a good conductor of electricity, graphite is good conductor of electricity. Which is soft, graphite is soft. Why graphite is soft? Because of its layered structure. One layer can stretch with the another layer. As a result, graphite is soft in nature. And because of three-dimensional arrangement of sp3 hybridized carbon atom, so the diamond is very hard in nature. So one more allotropic forms of carbon is fullerene. So fullerene is a soccer ball like structure having C20, C40, C60 carbon atoms, and here each carbon atom so undergo sp2 hybridization. So this is about fullerene. So apart from that, the very important compound of carbon is carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. So in that, water gas is one of the important mixture. We can call it as water gas. The mixture of carbon monoxide and hydrogen. Mixture of carbon monoxide and hydrogen is called water gas, and this water gas is used to prepare methyl alcohol, so and so many important organic compounds. So apart from that, one more mixture here is producer gas. A mixture of carbon monoxide and dinitrogen gas is called producer gas. So these are the various points regarding 13th and 14th group. So still we have one more part of this p block elements, that is 15, 16, 17, 18 group. So and that we will discuss in the next class itself. Let me see some questions regarding 13th and 14th group now. So the first question here is the shape of carbon dioxide molecule is. So carbon dioxide, so C double bond O double bond O. So I told you in the chemical bonding chapter. So this carbon dioxide is a molecule which undergo sp hybridization, where it containing two sigma bonds and two pi bonds. So and here the shape of this carbon dioxide molecule is linear. So any molecule which undergoing sp hybridization, so is linear with bond angle 180 degrees and 180 degree. So this is how. So the shape of carbon dioxide molecule is linear. So hence in the given option, the right answer is option B, linear. So the next question is, in the manufacture of cement, you know cement is one of the very important industrial product, so which can plays a very important role in our daily life to build so many buildings like that. So in the manufacture of that cement, which of the following is used? Generally in the manufacture of cement, limestone is one of the major component, so which is about 60%, and after that silica, SiO2, so which is also very important compound, and gypsum. So gypsum is also very important chemical, around 2% gypsum. The grade of a cement can be identified using the percentage of the gypsum. So if this gypsum is responsible for hardening of a cement. So that's why the main important chemicals which are used to prepare cement is limestone, silica and gypsum. So that's why the right answer here is B. So next is, which is not an allotropic forms of carbon? I told you allotropic forms of carbon. Allotrope means having same chemical composition but showing different physical properties. So same compound showing different properties, physical properties, not chemical. So physical properties are called allotropic forms. So carbon has very important three allotropic forms: diamond, graphite and fullerene. But here in the given option, graphite will be there. It's also one of the allotropic form of carbon. Diamond is there, and carbon soot. Carbon soot means carbon black. So ಕಾಡಿಗೆ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಬಳಸ್ತೀವಲ್ವಾ, that is what carbon soot. So that is also one of the allotropic forms of carbon, where it contains carbon as the main element. So last option is carborundum. So carborundum is a silicon carbide, so which is not an allotropic forms of carbon. Hence option D, that is carborundum, is not an allotropic forms of carbon. So next question is, water gas is an important fuel. So it is a mixture of, I told you in the synopsis itself, water gas is a mixture of carbon monoxide and dihydrogen. Hence option B is the right answer here. Whereas carbon monoxide and dinitrogen is producer gas, and this carbon monoxide and hydrogen is water gas. So next question is, which of the following bond has most polar character? So polar nature. The polarity is due to separation of charges. So because of electronegativity difference. So if A and B are the two different elements which combine together forming a bond AB. So here if you want to form a polarity, one of the elements should be a more electronegative. Suppose you just imagine, so B is more electronegative than A. As a result of that, B can attract the shared electron towards itself, and B will get partial negative charge and A will get partial positive charge. So this is what we call as polarity. So here in the given bonds, CO, CBr, CS, CF, which one is having more polar in nature? That is the question here. That depends upon the highly electronegative atom. So here carbon is common in all the elements, but another element which is bonded with carbon is differ among all these. So here we have fluorine. So and this fluorine is the element which is having highest electronegativity in the periodic table. So that is 4.0 according to Pauline's scale. So hence here you may observe, because of large electronegativity difference between carbon and fluorine, so this bond is more polar in nature. Hence option D is the right answer. So next question is, the oxide so which cannot act as a reducing agent. So remember oxide. So any element combines with oxygen forming oxides, and these oxides are of so many types. So oxygen carrying -2 oxidation state is called oxide. So here it is of so many types. One is acidic oxide, another one is a basic oxide, another one is a neutral oxide, and another one is a amphoteric oxide. This is already studied in the PU itself. What are acidic oxides? These are the oxides in which soluble in water gives acids. So what are basic oxides? These are the oxides if you react these with water gives bases. So generally metallic oxides are bases. Metallic oxides are bases, whereas non-metallic oxides are acidic because when they react with water forming acids. So neutral oxide, so which cannot form either acid or base. So amphoteric oxide, so it can form both acid as well as base. So that's why, so these are the various different types of oxides. We have acidic, basic, neutral and amphoteric. So here he is asking that what is which is not acts as a reducing agent. Remember one thing, an oxide with the highest maximum oxidation state of element, an oxide with highest oxidation state of an element can act as oxidizing agent. ಸೊ ಜನರಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾವು ಹೇಳೋದಾದ್ರೆ ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೈಸಿಂಗ್ ಏಜೆಂಟ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಒಂದು ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಒಂದು ಕಾಂಪೌಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಅಥವಾ ಹೈಯೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೇಷನ್ ನಂಬರ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೈಸಿಂಗ್ ಏಜೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬಿಹೇವ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಗೋ ಈಸಿಲಿ ರಿಡಕ್ಷನ್. ಸೊ ಯಾವ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೇಷನ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅದು ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಏಜೆಂಟ್. ಹೈಯೆಸ್ಟ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಬಾರ್ದು. ಹೈಯೆಸ್ಟ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋದು ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೈಸಿಂಗ್ ಏಜೆಂಟ್, ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋದು ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಏಜೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಟೇಕ್ ಟು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್, H2SO4 and SO2. So if here oxidation state of sulfur is +6, here oxidation state of sulfur is +4. So here in case of H2SO4, because of maximum oxidation state of sulfur, so this sulfuric acid can act as oxidizing agent. Whereas in case of sulfur dioxide, sulfur oxidation number is +4, which is not maximum. Actually sulfur maximum oxidation number is +6. Remember one thing, so group number refers maximum oxidation state. I told you in the previous, in the synopsis of this chapter itself, Roman number of a group refers two things. One is maximum oxidation state, another one is number of valence electron. Sulfur belongs to 6th A group, hence sulfur maximum oxidation number is +6. But here in case of sulfur dioxide it shows +4. So hence it does not act as a oxidizing agent, but it can act as a reducing agent here. So similarly, if you take here, I told you already, sulfur dioxide +4, which can act as a reducing agent. So here nitrogen NO2 +4 is the oxidation state of nitrogen here. So the maximum oxidation state of nitrogen is +5. So hence it also can act as a reducing agent here. So in case of carbon dioxide, carbon oxidation state is +4, but here carbon is having a maximum oxidation state. Carbon belongs to 4th A group. 4th A group means its maximum oxidation state is +4. Here in carbon dioxide its oxidation state is +4. Maximum ಇದೆ, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇದು ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೈಸಿಂಗ್ ಏಜೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬಿಹೇವ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಏಜೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬಿಹೇವ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Hence and option C is ClO2. So here its oxidation number is +4. Chlorine can show maximum +7 oxidation state. Hence these three, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide and ClO2, are not in a maximum oxidation state. Hence these three can act as a reducing agent, whereas the option C, carbon dioxide, can act as oxidizing agent, because here in the central atom, that is carbon, so it has a maximum oxidation state. It can act as oxidizing agent. Why it can act as an oxidizing agent? Because of maximum oxidation state, more positive charge will be there. Because of more positive charge, it can gain electrons easily, undergo reduction. ಯಾವುದು ರಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೋ ಅದು ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೈಸಿಂಗ್ ಏಜೆಂಟ್, ಯಾವುದು ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೇಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೋ ಅದು ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಏಜೆಂಟ್. ಇಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಶೋ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಇನ್ ಅನದರ್ ಕಾಂಪೌಂಡ್ಸ್, ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಎ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಗೋ ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೇಷನ್ ಈಸಿಲಿ. So that's why these are reducing agents, but this is oxidizing agents. So in the given options, which is not a reducing agent? So carbon dioxide is not a reducing agent. So next question is, when oxalic acid is dehydrated means water is removed. What is the formula of oxalic acid? COOH, COOH. So this is the formula of oxalic acid. So when it is treated with sulfuric acid, one water will be eliminated, H from here, OH from here, water is eliminated. So this bond is divided. So you will be getting a carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. So the dehydration of oxalic acid gives carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. Hence in the given option, so here we have carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. Hence option D is the right answer. So next question is, carbon forms a large number of compounds because of. So why carbon forming so many compounds here? Because of one important property. So we studied the special properties of carbon itself. It has a tetravalency. So it has a catenation property. What is catenation? So catenation is a process of linking of a same elements in a long chain. So same elements are linked together forming a very long chain. So that is what catenation. So carbon is having very high catenation property because CC bond here is very strong. It requires more amount of energy, that is around 400 kilojoules of energy to break this CC bond. Because of this strong CC bond, so this carbon is having a highest catenation property. Because of that catenation property, so carbon can form various compound, a variety of organic compounds as well as inorganic compounds also. So that's why carbon forms a large number of compounds because of its catenation property. So option D is the right answer. So here next question is, bell metal is an alloy of, alloys are obtained by mixing two or more metals or non-metals, like that, mixing up of two or more elements forming alloys. So bell metal is one of the alloy. So it consists of two important elements. One is copper with 80% and another one is tin or stannous with 20%. A mixture of copper 80% and tin 20% is called bell metal. So that's why bell metal is an alloy of copper and tin. Hence option B is the right answer. So next question is, wood charcoal is used in the gas masks. So we know that charcoal is one of the adsorbent, a best adsorbent. So because of that very good adsorbent nature of that charcoal, it can absorb all the poisonous gases. Hence wood charcoal, so containing coke, carbon, so acts as a used in the gas mask because it can absorb all the poisonous gases. So that's why option D is a right answer here. So these are the various points regarding first PUC P block elements chapter, that is 13th and 14th group. So and in the next video we will go through with the second PUC P block elements, that is 15, 16, 17, 18th group elements. So I will meet you in the next video.